30 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is on fire. Enemy team takes this one. The enemy team has been beat up. An event will start in 30 seconds. Enemy slain. Ally slain. The enemy team wins. Enemy slain. Got 30 seconds. Capture the control point. The enemy team's defenses can now rocket ground. Defeat.
I had to really sit down, read the comments on the posts that I made, and kind of take in that feedback. Because my instinct was to just drop it down into like somewhere in the bottom half of the tree. But I really spent some time thinking about it. And like, if you really think about it, this wonder is like getting an injection of like 1,000 faith into your empire when you build it. And that's a huge amount of yield, because you get 2 free apostles and a couple of other small benefits from it, the wonder itself. The fact that it's also really good in a different like victory game, and it gives you a little bit of faith, like, man, I'm actually having a hard time seeing why wouldn't you build this wonder in most of your games if you can. It does take a lot of investment to build, but I feel like the return on investment here is really damn good. Machu Picchu is probably going to be my most controversial take. I posted a preview of this tier list, and people were eating me alive in the comments that I was putting it down in F tier, and that's just where it belongs. I'm sorry. And it's not because the wonder isn't powerful. Realistically, it's probably a B or A tier. Like, but here's the big problem with it. Machu Picchu, I have never ever built Machu Picchu, despite me trying. I have tried to build a Machu Picchu in so many of my games, but whatever it is about the DD AI, they just seem to rush the tech that unlocks Machu Picchu. And 90% of my games, before I even unlock Machu, the AI has finished it and built it. It's like, if you can conquer this from the AI, boom, A, S tier, B tier, whatever, somewhere up here, but you're never building this. Just forget about it. It doesn't exist. If you're playing on lower difficulties, you'll be able to get this wonder no problem, and you'll be able to have a lot of fun using mountains for adjacency. But otherwise, this wonder just doesn't exist to me. Now, a wonder that does exist to me is the Petra, and man, this wonder no problem, and you'll be able to have a lot of fun using mountains for adjacency. But otherwise, this wonder just doesn't exist to me. Now, a wonder that does exist to me is the Petra, and man, this is a wonder that could go from S to F tier, and the reason is because, depending on where you put it, that's going to dictate how much value you get out of it. There's going to be a lot of people who argue that Petra should be S tier, and I agree with them, and there's probably some people who argue that it deserves to be down in like D or E tier, and I also agree with them. And so for that reason, I'm going to put it in A tier. It's not a bad wonder. It can be really, really game changing, or it can be just kind of okay. So I think A tier is a really, really good spot for Petra to live in. On average, I think it's like expected value works out to an A tier wonder. Because even like a mediocre Petra is still pretty good, and an amazing Petra is like far and away game changing. But it's not a wonder without drawbacks. You know, you kind of have to be able to build it, and it's an expensive wonder. It takes a lot of production, and you're going to be wanting to build it in a city that's located on or near desert, and there doesn't tend to be a whole lot of tile yield for you to actually build wonders in desert. So you're probably going to have to settle on the edge of desert, which means that you're not getting the maximum potential of your Petra, because you're only boosting, say, let's say half your tiles are desert and half are grassland. You're only going to be boosting about half your tiles with it. So it's just one of those wonders where there's just a couple of drawbacks that really hold it back from taking the S tier spot. The final classical era wonder is the Terracotta Army, and it's an alright wonder. Like, it really, you know, kind of depending on your game, it'll probably be somewhere in the bottom of the list, and another game might be somewhere up higher, like maybe B or A. But I think on average it kind of works out to be a C tier wonder. It's just a decent wonder. If you know when to build it, it's just good, but it's not something I would go out of my way to get, basically. It's just a decent, okay wonder. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and leave it in C tier. Moving on to the medieval era wonders. Around the medieval era is where kind of more specialist wonders start popping up. But it's important at this time of the game to sort of stop thinking about wonders as an era by era thing, because oftentimes I'll start unlocking Renaissance wonders before I've even unlocked some classical era wonders. And that sort of pattern stays through all the way through the game. So just kind of keep that in mind. And with that said, we're going to talk about the Huey Toakali, which I think is how you pronounce that. Watch me get slaughtered in the comments about how wrongly I pronounce that. It's an all-around okay wonder. It's just really hard to justify building. It's arguably worse than a lot of these classical and ancient era wonders, because even though it provides similar or better effects than some of them, it's like twice or 3 times as expensive as some of them. The price tag on this wonder is insane for the amount of production you're going to have when you unlock it. And the other thing is, it's on a bit of an awkward spot on the tech tree. I think I remember it's on military tactics or whatever, where you unlock pikemen, and that's just like a little bit of an awkward spot that doesn't, like, I tend to not research that until pretty late into my games. I wouldn't really consider making the Huey unless I had like maybe 4 to 6 lake tiles in my empire and I was getting like 3 or 4 amenities out of it. And so for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and just pop it down in D tier. Just slightly below average wonder. It's a good wonder, don't get me wrong, but it's just really too situational and too expensive to come up a little bit higher. Hagia Sophia, on the other way, which is how I think you're supposed to pronounce that, is an A tier wonder if you are going for a religion victory. Otherwise, it's an F tier wonder. Like, just, no, there's absolutely no reason to ever build this in a game other than a religion game. That said, it is good enough to kind of crawl back up to C tier. I think I'm just going to pop it there for being a little bit situational. Maybe it's worth building in the build. I think Alhambra in like most of my games if I got the opportunity to, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get it. It's really, really good, actually in a tourism game, because there's certain military policy cards that are really damn good in a tourism game, like the military research that gives you +2 signs from your Renaissance walls, and there's like the logistic cards that lets you move your buildings around more efficiently. The Alhambra is just a great wonder. Like all of the economic or all of the policy card wonders are just really generally very good and should be built if you can get to them without too much difficulty. Angkor Wat is also a pretty solid wonder. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it into B tier, and here's why. It's not game changing, but it does give you a decent amount of power in return for the investment that it demands. I've been building a lot more aqueducts in my games, so I often just have like room for an Angkor Wat, so I'll pop it down, get +1 housing and +1 population across my empire, maybe get a district a few turns sooner, maybe work a few extra tiles. It's actually, you know what? It's kind of like if the Hanging Gardens came at the same time. Like if you swapped Angkor Wat and Hanging Gardens, in terms of like when they appear in your game, like if they were unlocked on the same technology, they would just swap. Like if you were like if Hanging Gardens was unlocked at the same time as Angkor Wat, both of these wonders do essentially the same thing for your empire, give you more population, which in the end gives you more yields over time. It's just the big problem with the Hanging Gardens is that it comes so early that the AI builds it before you ever touch it. So like that's why it's gonna go ahead and pop into B tier. Chicken pizza. Man, this is a wonder that my heart tells me goes straight down to F tier. But I did listen to your guys' feedback, and it's mainly just down to the way that I play that I would put it down into F tier. And the reason for that is I just generally chop down all of my rainforest. There are sometimes I'll keep some rainforest, and if I don't care about appeal, I want to have a nice productive pile, I don't want to have a map forest. If you plan to pick this wonder up, it can actually be game changing. Like it could just be S tier, bam, S tier like a Petra, or maybe even A tier like a Petra. But I think just because I like chopping up my rainforest, I'm gonna put it in A tier. I think A tier is a perfectly fine spot for this to go. And if you disagree with me, fight me IRL. Mont Michel is probably it's probably the most powerful religious wonder in the game. The ability to get martyr on your guys is just insane, because it opens up so many more opportunities, not only for tourism, but also religion games. Like you can generate so much faith with the reliquaries belief. I'll admit, there was a time in the past where I would just like put this wonder in F tier and then like just move on. But I was like, yeah, this wonder sucks. I'm not really thought about it. But I spent a bit of time with the wonder and I really listened to your guys' feedback, and I think it belongs in an A tier. It's an A tier religion wonder, so I'm gonna pop it up there. Now, if you're not in a religion or tourism game where you're planning to do stuff with relics, I would probably just put it back down to F tier and forget where it belongs. But for now, I'll leave it in A tier. Menakshi Temple, let me think. I'm kind of thinking maybe like B to D tier. My instincts are telling me that this is like an A tier religion wonder, like Mont Michel is an S tier religious wonder. But other than religion games, this is like F tier, forget it exists. That's what that means. That's what F tier means. F tier means forget it exists. Because if you're not going for a religion game, this wonder does not matter to you, even in the slightest. However, if you're in a religion game, it basically turns your gurus into like religious great generals, which is like ridiculously powerful. So I'm gonna pop it into C tier, just so you know it's actually pretty good, but in my heart, this is an F tier wonder. Hotuku Inn, however, is a wonder that I have absolutely no problem taking a huge dump on, because I want nothing to do with this wonder. The only redeemable thing about this is that it gives you a 20% faith income, which might be useful where you're going for a religion victory on a huge map and you have like a ton of people to convert. I would honestly just rather spend the 700 production that it costs to make this, to do holy site prayers, build holy sites, all that sort of stuff, and get an extra 200 faith that I can maybe get another apostle or missionary with a few turns sooner. However, that said, in a really, really long game or a really big game, this is gonna pay off pretty well. So I'll keep it out of like the really, really low tiers, and I'll pop it into D tier as well. Alright, so this is the point in the video where I'm about to blow like at least 75% of the people who watch this video's minds. Now, you might look at the kill with Cassandra, and I guarantee you, a massive percentage of people have absolutely no idea what this wonder does, have absolutely no idea how strong it is, and think it's something that they should probably get every now and again. But I'm going to tell you right now, you should be building this wonder in every single one of your games. This is an S tier wonder. I'm going to explain how it works. When I explain how this works to you, you're going to be like, why the hell was I not building this wonder? Like, literally, just always build this wonder if you can. It's literally game breaking. Basically, imagine if Ruhr Valley boosted all yields in your empire by 20% instead of just production in a single city. Yeah, that's what Killwa can potentially do. So how it works is, if you have suzerainty of a single scientific city-state, you get a 15% boost to the science in the city that built the Killwa. If you have suzerainty of 2 scientific city-states, all of your cities get 15% more science. Yeah. That's literally game breaking. And the city that super works is, all yields, and you have to be building this wonder with 75%, so all that sort of stuff, and get an extra 2 big jump on because then you have another apostle or middle entity. And I guarantee you, now and again, this works for you. You're going to be like, what? Usually, like in this side players, which you're not going through a religion game, this wonder does this bomb huge, like really, really low. Look at something. I'm going to explain how it works. When I explain how this works to you, you're going to be like, why the hell was I not building this wonder? Like, literally, just always build this wonder if you can. It's literally game breaking. Basically, imagine if Ruhr Valley boosted all yields in your empire by 20% instead of just production in a single city. Yeah, that's what Killwa can potentially do. So how it works is, if you have suzerainty of a single scientific city-state, you get a 15% boost to the science in the city that built the Killwa. If you have suzerainty of 2 scientific city-states, all of your cities get 15% more science. Yeah, that's literally game breaking. And the city that built the Killwa, that gets a 30% boost if you have 2 suzerainities. It's incredibly powerful in combination with Apadana. If you remember, Apadana gives you a ton of envoys every time you build a wonder. Like, I'm not joking. You should literally beeline this wonder always and in every single game. If you get this wonder and get suzerainty of 2 industrial city-states, you literally auto-win the game. If you can have multiple types of city-states suzerain, like with 2, you probably could fall asleep at your keyboard and still win the game. Arguably, a candidate to have its own category of S+++ whatever. It's just insane. And I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea this wonder was that good until like a couple weeks ago when I was really digging down and doing the research on the wonder tier list. Build this goddamn wonder. I'm even gonna make it bigger for you. Now I know I hyped up that last wonder, but the University of St. Core is a decent wonder. It's not amazing, it's just decent. It's good. The problem is I never find time or feel like I need to build it. I often just don't have my cities set up to be able to place it down, and it's not worth designing a city around in my opinion. However, it is actually really good and probably should be a wonder that I build more often. I'll give it a C because if you plant Magnus in the city with the supplies promotion or whichever one gives you the food from trade routes and you run some internal trade routes, it can be super powerful. It gives you a ton of yields. The only major criticism I have of this wonder is that I can pretty much always get better yields by just trading internationally with other players. That's it for the medieval era wonders. We're going to be moving on to the Renaissance wonders, and this is a section of the tech tree with some really powerful wonders that are always useful and a couple of situational wonders that are rarely useful. It's a mixed bag, all things considered, but let's go ahead and jump in and start off with the Great Zimbabwe. The Great Zimbabwe potentially offers huge amounts of gold to isolationist empires that have to trade internally, but sadly it's just kind of outshined by how powerful international trade routes are. If you're forced to trade internally, I would seriously consider building this wonder if you have at least 2 to 3 bonus resources in the city that you plan to build it. Otherwise,
Welcome to Nexus Blitz. Big numbers, big prizes. Time for a DPS check. Enemy team has been beefed up. An event will start in 30 seconds. hardened here or what? Enemy slain. Ally slain. Join the fray. Slain an enemy. death will begin soon. Ten, nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one. Kill the enemy team's walking nexus. Victory!
Otherwise, you can probably skip it. And for that reason, I'm going to pop it to C tier. It's like in the situation where it's really, really good, it's worth getting. It's just that situation is pretty damn rare. Forbidden City, like this is just like how's it going? Like this is literally just boom, straight to S tier. It's no discussion. Build it in every single game if you can. A wild card policy slot is incredibly useful. It's easily the best free policy card wonder. Not much else to be said. It's just really good and really consistently useful. That should help you in every single game that you play. Carta de Contraction is generally useful for governor titles, but only situationally does it really deserve higher than D in my opinion. It's a good wonder, don't get me wrong. And like if you could build it, great, get it. C card wonder. Straight to S tier. It's like in the situation where it's really, really good, it's worth getting. It's just that card policy slot is incredibly useful. It's easily the best free policy card wonder. Not much else to be said. It's just really good and really consistently useful. That should help you in every single game that you play. Carta de Contraction is generally useful for governor titles, but only situationally does it really deserve higher than D in my opinion. It's a good wonder, don't get me wrong. And like if you could build it, great, get it. But man, you know what? Actually, I'm not gonna give it D. I'm gonna give it C. Like if you can get it, I would get this wonder. But I wouldn't go out of my way. You can kind of live without it. Is how I would describe this. Don't be afraid to skip it, but get it if you can. St. Basil's Cathedral is probably another really, really damn powerful relic or tourism or religion or tourism wonder. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop it into A tier. The big problem is that it's a little bit awkward. So I kind of want to put it into B tier, honestly. I kind of find the AI gets it before me, and I think I would actually build. Here's the thing though. Next up we have the Potala Palace, which probably the simplest way that I can put this is that it's a good wonder, but it's like the weakest of the wonders that give you free card slots or whatever. So I'll just go ahead and pop it into B tier. It's a decent wonder. It's not too expensive. It comes at a good time of the game, but it just gives you the weakest policy card slot of all of the card slot wonders. Not much to really say about Taj Mahal. It's just good. Like just get it if you can, without hurting your empire. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Like it's just a good wonder. It gives you a ton of great, it gives you a ton of score, which is great. But I wouldn't like go out of my way to get this. Oof, Venetian Arsenal. Oh my goodness, this is probably the, if not the most controversial, the second most controversial decision I'm going to be making in this tier list. I want to put this in F tier. I want to put this in F tier because navies aren't that useful. Navies aren't that good. Most maps I play don't use navies. However, you guys sent me so much feedback about the initial sort of sneak peek that I put up where the Venetian Arsenal was down in F tier. And I took all that feedback in, and you know what? You guys are right. It literally doubles the amount of production that you can invest into navies. So I'm going to put it up in B tier, okay? That's a compromise. I want this down here. You guys want it up here. I'm putting it in B tier. In the right situation, it's a really damn good wonder. However, it's just a little bit too situational to go up to A or S tier for me. It can be. If you're on a naval game with a huge map and a ton of people to kill, this is literally a beeline wonder. You go for this because it doubles the size of your navy. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys, but I really do think it's an F tier wonder 99% of the time. So I'll just put it in B. That's our compromise, okay? That's my reaching out with an olive branch to the community that loves this wonder. The Hermitage on paper, man, it's a really decent tourism wonder on paper. But the problem is that it's really, really damn expensive. It's nearly 1,500 production, and you just get 4 great work of art slots. It's super not worth it. It's super not worth it if you still have room for great works of art. And like you could build like 10 or more builders instead of this to place down national parks, to place down forest, prepare seaside resorts. It's just a really phenomenally bad return on investment. However, that said, there are situations in which I would consider building it. For example, if I'm doing like a mega city with Pingala on F tier. But I'm similar to the Hermitage in terms, it's not an awful wonder. It's worthwhile building in culture games. but other than that, I wouldn't really ever go out of my way to build a Bolshoi theater. I actually totally forgot to introduce the industrial era wonders, but it's again, it's kind of a bit of a mixed bag. Some of them are really good, some of them are pretty bad. But let's go ahead and talk about the Big Ben. Now, the Big Ben is goddamn amazing. My heart tells me it belongs in B tier. Or A tier. Yeah, I probably put it in A tier, but I read a lot of your comments. You guys are saying, man, this wonder is so damn good. Economic policy slots are like the second best one. So I'm gonna put it in A tier. I can't justify putting it on the same tier as this. Well, maybe I can. Let me think about it. Yeah, I think it kind of straddles the line between A and S tier. So I'm just gonna leave it there to trigger people who don't like it that it's not on the right tier. Well, we actually managed to find our very first meme tier line between A and S tier. So I'm just gonna leave it there to trigger people who don't like it that it's not on the right tier. Well, we actually managed to find our very first meme tier wonder, which is the Panama Canal. In my heart, it's A S tier because it's just a giant meme. However, in reality, in actual gameplay, it's an F tier wonder. Just, don't build it for any other reason to have a bit of fun. There is actually a use case for this, by the way. If you position the canal correctly, you can get really good industrial zones with the canal, which is not bad in all honesty, because it has room for 2 to 4 industrial zones to get +2 adjacency from the adjacent dams, and certain configurations can get even more. But yeah, I'm just gonna put down an F tier. It's not really worth talking about. It's a meme wonder, just like the Golden Gate Bridge is a meme wonder. However, the next wonder is not a meme, and that's the Oxford University. This wonder gives you a 20% science boost in your empire. It's amazing. Even if it's really expensive, even if it's hard to build, even if it comes late into the game, 20% science in a single city when you combine it with Pingala is so damn good. Pingala can give you a ton of baseline science and multiplier science, and this wonder will multiply your science. You can end up with ridiculous science fields thanks to this wonder. You can also do some like tech tree manipulation and stuff like that to get more value out of this wonder. So I'm gonna pop it up to A tier. Or it's Gaz. I don't know how to say this wonder, but this is just like a wonder that's like kind of generally useful. If you're in a diplomatic victory game, it's worth picking up, especially because of all the extra diplomatic favor. But otherwise, you should probably just try to pick this up if you can, because if you have vanity of any city state at all, you're getting extra value, and the AI really, really values diplomatic favor, so you can buy a ton of stuff off them, get all their gold, do all sorts of crazy stuff with diplomatic favor. So this is just a good wonder. It's good. Thumbs up. Really good. Get it if you can. Statue of Liberty, on the other hand, it's probably S tier in diplomatic games, but otherwise it's a D tier in my heart. Like really, it only functions to give you diplomatic victory points. So I even feel like D tier is being generous. In my initial assessment, I think I had it down in E or F tier, but I'm trying to be a bit nicer to the really situational wonders, so I'm gonna put it in D for now. S tier. And I know I'm kind of cheating by doing this, but I feel like sometimes the real value is S tier and sometimes it's just A tier. So I'm gonna put it right there, right in the middle. No, you know what? I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna move real value up to S tier. I'm gonna move the Big Ben down to A tier. That's where I think these belong. The real value just gives you such a ridiculous amount of production that you should always build it if you can. It does take a fairly long time to pay back its investment price, but I think it always pays back its investment price. There aren't a whole lot of wonders in the modern era, but a couple of them are literally game defining. The Eiffel Tower in particular, this is an A tier wonder. Even though you will never ever build it in anything other than a tourism game, this wonder, when combined with the Crystal Redentor, which we're also going to talk about right now, literally win you the game. So to put this in perspective, if you place it in a seaside resort, you're going to get 4 tourism per turn. If you place it in a seaside resort with the Eiffel Tower, you're going to get 6 tourism per turn. If you place it in a seaside resort with a Eiffel Tower and Crystal Redentor, you're going to get 12 tourism per turn. So it literally triples the amount of tourism you get from seaside resorts if you build these two wonders. I don't think they ever make sense to talk about when they're not combined. So these two wonders are literally like attached at the hip for me. I don't think I would ever build one and not the other if I had the opportunity to. Like in all honesty, if you're doing a tourism game, you need to build these, and they're so powerful that it's always worth building. The only time I would maybe consider building one over the other is if I was doing a reliquaries tourism game where I didn't have a ton of like wanted room for my national. Next meme tier wonder, the Golden Gate Bridge. Again, it's just a meme tier wonder, goes straight down to F. It's good in its use case, but its use case is so rare. Having it like here's a big problem with it. It's an expensive wonder that requires you to have a city filled with national parks to get value out of it, and a city that has national parks in it isn't going to have the goddamn production to build this wonder. So its use case, it's like its design just doesn't mesh with the benefits that it gives. Broadway on the other hand, man, like the thing is to have the goddamn production to build this wonder. So its use case, it's like its design just doesn't mesh with the benefits that it gives. Broadway on the other hand, man, like the thing is Broadway technically should be as good as the Oxford University, but it really just isn't. It comes much later into the game. It's much more expensive, and so I just can almost never justify building it. If you can build it, it's good. So I'm gonna pop it down into D tier. It's good if you can get it, but otherwise it's kind of eh. Like I would say on paper, it's maybe an A or B tier wonder, but like when you're actually playing the game's almost over by the time I ever finish this. On to the Atomic Era, which is the very last era for wonders. We're gonna go ahead and stop off for the. But like when you're actually playing the game, like, sorry, no, the Amundsen Research Center. Sorry, my bad. This is a B tier wonder. Like if you can get it, it's really, really good. Don't go out of your way to get it. It's kind of like it's like you don't need this. You don't need this. Just like Venetian Arsenal is B tier. You don't ever need to build this wonder. The big problem with it, and like things like Estadio de Maracana, is that all of these wonders are like an I win more button. By the time you're getting these wonders, you should be winning the game and already like uncontested, and you're just building these for the meme. Realistically, they should probably go down to E tier, but I'm gonna put them up at B tier, just like Estadio and Disco to B tier, and then Sydney Opera House goes straight down to F tier because the only time this is useful to build is in a tourism game, whereas these two can at least be nice meme builds in other times. And that's it for the wonder tier list. I get that a lot of people are going to disagree with some of my reasoning here, and that's totally fine. I feel like a lot of these wonders, I want to be very clear here. Remember, any one of these wonders can be C tier or higher, with the exception of Stonehenge, which also deserves to be below F tier because this is probably one of the worst wonders in the game. Any of these wonders will be C tier or higher if you get them for free. If you conquer them off the AI, they're amazing. And like if you have them in their perfect use case, there's probably a justification for B tier for all of these wonders. But you kind of have to have some winners and some losers. And today our loser is the Stonehenge, because here's the problem. I would literally rather have a holy site and a shrine than a Stonehenge. I would rather conquer a holy site with a shrine than a Stonehenge. This wonder is pretty damn garbage. The AI prioritizes it a lot. It's not worth crippling your early game to build it. That's it for the World Wonder tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys agreed with a lot of my decisions. And it's okay if you disagreed. I love you all very much. And I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to go ahead and check out my previous video, the Natural Wonder tier list. Bye-bye.
Hey, Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome to Let's Play. Otherwise, I'm going to keep all settings standard. I will be playing in the Secret Societies mode because I want to try out the new Hermetic Order. They have received some very significant changes in the patch video. And if you want to go ahead and check out my patch review video, there will be a little button in the top right of this video that you can click on. Other than that, though, let's get this bad boy on the road.